Welcome to this how-to video where we will walk through how to set up Zero Trust geolocation compliance policies. With the Citrix platform, you have the ability to apply these Zero Trust policies at 3 different levels. You have pre-authentication policies that's going to validate the device posture before the user is shown the logon screen. You have app authorization policies that's going to take your information and device posture to filter the applications that you have access to. And then you have in-session policies that's going to continuously monitor the status of your device and adjust the policies within the session automatically. To begin, we're going to start with pre-authentication policies. The first thing we do is enable the device posture service within the Citrix platform. We then will select the settings and determine what is the default behavior if no policy is applicable to the current scenario. In this example, we're going to deny access. With these initial settings configured, we can go ahead and create our first device posture policy. In this example, it's going to be for the Windows platform. We're going to focus on geolocation, and we're only going to make this true if the location matches the United States. When this happens, we're going to tag these devices as compliant. We'll go ahead and give the policy a name as well as a priority number. And when the policy is created, it will automatically be enabled. With the policy defined, we can now test the configuration. When the user launches Workspace app, if their device is not located in our prescribed geography, they will be denied access to the logon screen, which you see happening on our non-compliant endpoint. In the next example, we want to expand this to include app authorization policies, which will limit which applications a user can see if they are not compliant on their endpoint device. To make this happen, we first need to change the default behavior if a device scan is not applicable. So instead of deny, which we did before, we're going to tag these machines as non-compliant. These tags are then going to be leveraged within the Citrix DAS console to determine which applications a user has access to. These tags are tied to different delivery groups. So in this example, we have 2 different delivery groups configured, compliant and non-compliant. We'll go ahead and modify the access policies for the compliant delivery group, and we will include connections that meet the following criteria. The filter is workspace, and the value is compliant. Compliant devices from Workspace will see the resources from this particular delivery group. We will now configure the exact same thing for a non-compliant delivery group, except the value is going to be non-compliant. With the access policies configured, we can now go ahead and validate the configuration. The default policy that we switched on our device posture is now going to allow our non-compliant endpoint device to see the logon screen and authenticate. When they successfully authenticate, the applications that are enumerated will be different than the device that is compliant. The last part of this configuration is to configure the in-session policies, which is going to continuously monitor our device posture during the session and enforce real-time controls. So within the Device Trust console, we want to create a new context. The first part of this is to give this context a name, and we'll call it geolocation compliance. We will start with a default value of disallowed. Now the context for this is going to be remote. So this is the endpoint device. On the endpoint device, we want to look at the location, and specifically the country that the device is located in. And here we will provide a 2-letter value for the country that the user is in. Now, if the user is within that country, the value switches from disallowed to available. With this configured, we go ahead and create an action. And we're going to leverage that context to determine what action we're going to respond with. So here we select the context. This will be the context we just created, and we're going to look for an if it equals disallowed. So this is the starting point. So if we don't know where the user is located, or they're not in the US, then we want to provide an action, which is going to be deny access. So here we'll go ahead and give the message a title. We're going to provide a message within the alert that the user is going to see, and then we want to automatically sign the user out, disconnect them, or lock the session after a specific timeout. In this example is 60 seconds. The next thing we need to do is configure the settings for this policy. And specifically, we need to determine within the options, how is the system determining the user's location? So in default, it's satellite, Wi-Fi, and cellular, but we want to also add the IP address and use this information to help identify the user's physical location of their endpoint device. We'll go ahead and save this as a local file policy. And once that's done, we can go ahead and test the configuration. So our non-compliant device is located not in a country that's not the United States in this example. What's going to happen is the user is going to be denied access into the session. They will receive a message that's going to tell them you're not allowed to access this resource because you are currently in a restricted country. So that is how you tie these three different things together into a single policy engine: pre-authentication, app enumeration, and in-session policies. These policies leverage numerous data points, allows you to create dynamic responses for your users, and allows you to take immediate action. To find out more, visit us at citrix.com.